Okay, from now onward, we will start several kinds of renderings in Next.js. So, several kinds of rendering and it has pros and cons. So, let's discuss individually and we will go individual by practicing and show you by coding what's the benefit and what is the pros and cons. But just skim through and get a quick overview in this tutorial. We will deep dive from the next tutorial, okay? So we have several rendering. First of all is the client-side rendering we are gonna discuss. So with client-side rendering, render happens entirely on the client browsers. The HTML sent by the server contains minimal content and React takes over to populate the DOM after loading JavaScript. So it has several proofs. Intercept interactive apps enables rich interactive and dynamic updates without full page reloads. Okay, as the page is not full reload, so it has some drawbacks for SEO. They are discussing later. Faster page transition. Once the JavaScript bundle is loaded, subsequent navigation is very fast since it only updates parts of the page. No load on the server. Since rendering happens in the browser, the server is relieved from generating the HTML for each request. So these are the pros and cons. Cons: slower initial load. The browser must download parts and execute JavaScript before the content appears, leading to a blank screen or loading spinner until it happens. SEO challenges. Search engine may have difficulty crawling as the page is not loading, full page is not loading, so they are not getting the metadata. So it has some SEO challenges. So not present in the initial HTML. Higher bundle size. Large JavaScript files need to be downloaded for the page to work properly. Okay, so now discuss about the server-side rendering. In server-side rendering, the HTML generated on the server for each request. When a user requests a page, the server sends fully rendered HTML to the browser, followed by the JavaScript for interactivity. Improved SEO. Since the content is fully rendered, when the page is served, search engine can crawl the HTML. Okay, faster time for fast paint. The user sees the content quickly because HTML is rendered on the server and sent directly to the browser. So fast paint, faster time for fast paint, and it has the improved SEO as they are sending the metadata as early as possible, so search engine crawlers can trace it. Reduce JavaScript code. The browser gets the fully rendered HTML, reducing the amount of JavaScript needed for initial content display. So it has the cons also. Slower on-demand rendering. For each request, the server needs to render the HTML, which can slow down high traffic applications. So it is not good fit for microservice or large application. Okay. So why? For each request, the server needs to render the HTML, which can slow down high traffic applications. Increased server load. The server does not work on each request since it needs to render the page on demand. Hydration cost. After receiving the HTML, the browser must load the hydrate, the React app, adding interactivity. We will discuss hydration, what is hydration and its error in the subsequent video, which can cause performance overhead. Okay, and then static site generation. Static site generation pre-renders HTML pages at build time. When user requests a page, the server delivers the pre-rendered static HTML file, avoiding the need of dynamic server-side rendering. First page load pages are already rendered and served as static files, making load times faster. Better performance. No need to execute JavaScript for rendering the initial view, reducing the burden on the browser. Scalability. Since the pages are pre-rendered, HG server static site generations scale efficiently because it can be served by a CDN with minimal server resources. So they can use CDN. Okay, it has the cons also. Longer build times. For large sites, build times can increase because every page must be generated ahead of time. Stale content. Static page don't update automatically. You need to trigger rebuild or use ISR, incremental static site generation, for updates. And then incremental static generation, ISR Next.js exclusive. ISR allows static pages to be updated after build time. Pages are generated in the background with traffic is served the stale version until the update is ready. This offers a balance between SSD and SSR. So it has the pros. Near real-time updates allow you to update static content without rebuilding the entire site. Improve performance. Pages are served statically while still allowing to periodic updates, keeping the benefits of SSG. SEO benefits like SSG content is available immediately for the crawlers. It has the cons also. Complexity require a bit more setup and strategy, especially with cache management. Possible state content. There can be moments when users receive updated content while the background generation occurs. Static site generation with client-side rendering. Hybrid approach. In this approach, some parts of the app are pre-rendered using SSG while the others are rendered client-side. This is typically used when most of the pages can be static but dynamic parts require interactions or live updates. Best for both worlds, static parts load quickly while dynamic sections can update the new data as needed. SEO for static parts. The pre-rendered static content is scrollable and SEO friendly. Improved interactivity. Allow dynamic interactive parts while reducing the overall burden of the JavaScript on the initial load. Cons. More complexity. Required careful planning, which parts are rendered statically and which are client rendered. Potential hydration issue. Combining static and dynamic content can lead to performance issue during the hydration phase. So these are the civil rendering. It has pros and cons. So we will discuss in depth from the next tutorial. Okay. So this is very important to understand to be a seasoned Next.js developer. Thank you very much. See you soon. A little bit announcement. You can get a tremendous and superb course. This is my course. MERN stack, Typescript, Ecommerce, Docker, RTKquery, and along with deploy. It's a nice and huge course. So its price is $44, but I can give you for my students. I can give it only $9. Okay. So it will last for 5 days. But you will get $9 if the course is needed. You can contact with me, just $9.99. Okay, so it's a super course, tremendous course. So you will able to learn a lot of things. You will get TypeScript, e-commerce, Docker, RTK query, and deployment. So it is built on React 9.18, Node.js 20, and role-based automatic redirect. So I will give the discount link and coupon code and course link in the description box. You can come and check and don't hesitate to grab the course. Thank you very much.